says, your immersive experience has been hijacked. It is highly recommended that you disconnect.
Welcome to another episode of The Immersive Experience, a podcast about you, for you, from you, where we deep dive into the realms of self development and uncover the truths that shape our lives. Whether you're tuning in the live or catching the replay, thank you, and we're thrilled having you with us tonight. This episode is entitled The Cycle of Failure. And this is just going to be a raw, unfiltered exploration into why you keep repeating the same old cycle of failure. So, I just want to let you know that this does piggyback off of the last podcast of stop lying to yourself. So, you always want to with that. Don't lie to yourself. So, if you want to ask questions, make sure you put them in the comments because we do want to. Thank you so much, Riss. I didn't know I was on mute. I was on mute. That's what that was. But can you hear me now? Am I loud and clear? Can you hear me, love? Cause my phone be having bad service too, so I need to make sure. You know what I'm saying? No, for real. So, all right. Okay. So we want to talk about what a cycle of failure is today. And aw, take into accountability that that is what it is, then you'll forever be chasing your tail, or what they call you'll be doing that for the rest of your life. And that's not what you want to do. You don't want to be chasing your tail. Stop looking and listening to external pressures. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Because why you got to compare yourself to other people? Either you going to run your race or you going to allow somebody else to run your race for you. Get serious about yourself. Why you not? You want everybody else to step in and help you do things for you, but you don't want to do anything for yourself. And that's how I felt before I started this podcast. I was asking people like, if I start a podcast, y'all gonna fuck with me? Y'all gonna mess with me? Like, no. What? I wasn't fucking with myself. You can't expect people to come in and go to bat for you if you're not willing to go to bat for yourself. If you don't got no fight for yourself, if you don't got none of that. And I understand, like, I get tired. I'm a lazy person. You understand what I'm saying? And I be tired, you know what I'm saying? But to push through the tiredness and to make more use of my time, to make things more effective, to put together the things that I need to put together to become the person that I stated that I wanted to be, because these are the things that I want to see in my life. So you can't just sit here and put words and sit here and talk about what you want to do or how you want to do it. You actually got to start putting the work behind it to do it. You understand what I'm saying? So make sure you're doing that. Don't fall victim to these external pressures. A lot of us think that we don't have idolization or anything like that, or you think that you're not trying to keep up with the Joneses, but we be living way beyond our means. And the economy may play a part on this, but also with the economy playing a part on that, like I just think about me, like just eating out. That's a lot of money that I'm wasting. You understand what I'm saying? So not being too lazy to cook, being too lazy, and a lot of things that's supposed to better you is gonna take your patience. It's going to take your time. But because you're trying to do so many other things, you will say that you don't have time for yourself. You will say that it's I got kids, or I got this, or I got that. You just make up all types of excuses. You understand what I'm saying? And the truth is these don't have to be excuses. Because like I said earlier, you're gonna make time for sex, you gonna make time for leisure, you gonna make time for them vacations, but you got to make time to also better yourself, to do better, to become better, to let this be the last year that you know better and not do better. That's what you got to do. And that's why you don't be taking yourself um, serious enough. So, why do we often repeat the same mistakes in our relationships? Hmm. We might be drawn to familiar patterns, even if they're unhealthy. You understand what I'm saying? Because listen, this is your survival mode that has kicked in. So this is how you perpetuate this cycle of failure. Because this is something that you're used to. And you might not understand that you could be talking to a different person and you finna repeat the same cycle all over again. It don't matter that you change people. Did you change the pattern of you? No, you haven't. You're still a people pleaser. You're still gonna do what anybody asks you to do because you're desperate for company, attention, all of those things. And you allow yourself to falsely feel safe with somebody that you're not even safe with. That's why your relationships be failing. Y'all go in with this ideal of who a person is supposed to be instead of actually seeing them for where they are, for who they are, where they sitting at, all of that. You go in with this great expectation of a person, and you need to take your expectations off of these people. The only thing that you could do is go in and be the best version of you. Look at that person, study them. That's what they did to you. Ain't that what they did to black people? Boy, they tore your ass, they tore our asses the fuck apart. You understand what I'm saying? They dissected us. They thought we didn't even have feelings. They like, you're three-quarters of a human. Fuck is you talking about? We can do whatever we want to do to you. They dissected you. They study you. What you think happened to animals? What you think happened to all of the things that they know so much about? They put black people in the projects and they studied their ass too. So like I'm just, you say that you want something, but you don't put the research into getting what you stated that you want. And that don't make sense to it. No, it don't. So stop saying that you want things and not put in the effort for it. I always say the best way to combat entropy is to exert much effort. You must put the effort forth. As tedious as it is, as many times as you see yourself failing, as many times as you see yourself have to get back up, get back up. Why wouldn't you? You're not worth the fight. You could fight for everybody else. You could go out there and do so much shit for everybody else, but you won't do it for you. Why? This would be called self-sabotage. Also, a way that you repeat that cycle. It's another way. I'm sorry, y'all. This thing keep rolling up. I was happy. The camera wasn't working at first. But that's a way that you perpetuate this cycle. So you have to be able to pinpoint the ways that you're hindering yourself, the ways that you're not making enough of your time, the ways that you're not doing enough for yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Stop making it seem like you're doing something that you're really not doing. You gotta be better than that. You gotta be more honest than that. You grown. Ain't that what y'all all like to throw around when it's time to fuck? We grown. We're grown. It's time to better your life. You're grown. Take it. Take it with the same grain of salt that you take everything else with. Bitch, you grown. Do something different. Try something a little different. Stop allowing yourself to become stagnated because you're too lazy to do the research or you're too lazy to do the work in my case. And I am trying to cultivate a mind to work. You understand what I'm saying? Not to be so satisfied with instant gratification, but to be able to take the cynic route to get whatever the fuck I want. So to keep that in mind, to keep that, one thing that my mama always liked to say, or she had written down on her thing, and I'm gonna add a cuss word in it. Stop being so damn soft. Y'all be too soft. Fuck is you talking about? Get a little more tough about you. The same way you feel about them kids of yours, the same way you protect them. Protect yourself at all costs. Protect you. So, what roles does mindset play in perpetuating failures? What role does your mindset play in perpetuating failures? So as a man thinketh, so shall he be. So I think that speaks to, a fixed mindset can limit our ability to innovate and adapt. You understand what I'm saying? So you could be going a million and one ways with something, but if you shut yourself off, if you don't allow yourself to step outside of what you would normally do, of course you're going to keep repeating it. To do something a million and one times and expect different results. What's that called? Insanity. What are you, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Try something different. Why not? You failed already. You tried that. You failed a million and one ways. You got to plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G for if something don't go right in one venture. So you'll hop to another venture. Or you know what we do? We thrust ourselves into something we know we good at. So we don't have to deal with what we know we are fail at. So you gotta pick a place and you gotta stay there and you gotta be dedicated to it. This way you gotta be consistent. This way your consistency comes into play. It is a lot of different things that you have to balance, that you have to put on your focus, put on your determination, whatever it is, just be consistent, really. You don't gotta put on shit. Put on some consistency. Put on some consistency. Stop lying. Stop telling yourself that you're gonna do something that you're not finna do because you ain't even did it yet. You don't want to do it. And then you'll go and get depressed about something you're not making the steps to do what you need to do. But you're depressed for it. Open your mind. Open it. Expand it. Allow yourself to see what your worth is. Allow yourself to see the things that you are going after, the things that you want to obtain. And this is why you have to open your mind. And this is why it seems like you meet failure after failure because you're not open enough to meeting anything else. You won't open yourself up. And that don't mean you gotta open yourself up in like like uncomfortable ways. But it will be slight uncomfort because it's something new and you might be afraid of losing everything, but sometimes you got to take those steps to do what you need to do. It's okay because you can get it all back because you got it the first time. Now go get it. I don't know. So don't let your personal ventures become traps of repeated failures. So you don't want to let and the way that you do that is set clear goals. Stop setting these unsure goals. If you can understand how you're going to do something, now this is the thing. We have a thought in our head, and the thought that we have in our head, now we have to take it out of our head and put it into our hands. And you how you going to do that? What's a plan of action that will allow you to do that? And you have to really see it through. And we can come up with these grand ideas, these great schemes of what we finna do, how we finna make something work, and we don't even make it work. We don't do the things that we need to do to make it work correctly. So, with the issue with the fear of failure, we need to reframe failure as a learning experience. That's what you have to do. You have to reframe it as a learning experience. Stop seeing failure as a defeat because that's not what it is. You could have a million and one failures. You could even think about I think I just read something that said IKEA started off as a pen and it became a whole furniture store. LG started some these things started off, Samsung started off as a laundromat or something like that. Don't quote me. I could be lying. But it's just like a lot of different things that things started off as and they became something so much greater. And you have to understand how many times they failed at something, how many times they lost interest. You just see the finished products, but we don't be caring how people run the race. We only care how they finish the race. And that be the problem. So you need to figure out how to run your race. That's what you need to do. Find a pace that works for you. If you're not the type of person that can run a mile in a minute, or can you do that? Is that a possibility? I'm not really sure. I've never ran a mile in a minute, not a day in my life. So I rode a bike and it took me an hour to go a mile. You know what I'm saying? And it was my first time being on a bike in a long time. And it took me an hour to go it now. So out of shape. I'm still out of shape. That's what I'm talking about. I was so out of shape. I'm still out of shape. So we talked about comfort zone. So challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone regularly and start with small steps and gradually take bigger challenges. So like I said, start with yourself exactly where you are. And when you could do that, then you will be able to do the things that you're supposed to be able to do because you can meet yourself in a place that's important enough for you to start taking the steps that you need to take to do the things that you stated that you wanted to do to become the person that you're trying to become. I think that's important. I think it's imperative to see yourself. We always want everybody else to see us, but then we don't have no idea who we are. So you really have to put yourself in a position to be utilized the way that you want to be utilized. You have to put yourself in a position of power. I think my mama had that written on her board too. But you have to put yourself in a position of power. And you can't think that power is just money, but power is also your innate abilities, the talents that you're blessed with, the skills that you have, all of the things that you cultivated within yourself. You can think that being a mom is just being a mom, but no, you can take those things that you have learned being a mom, your patience, your kindness, being there to be of service to a person or whatever you call it, and use that with other people in other arenas. So learn how to utilize your titles in different areas, and I call them tools. So learn how to use the tools that are you in different areas. Don't just think that it only applies in one area. Stop being so closed minded and take the tools that you've learned and apply them everywhere because they can be used. Just like a screwdriver, just like a hammer, a saw, you can use them. Utilize your tools correctly. And this is a thing. This is why you have to be honest with yourself. So cuz if you're not honest with yourself, then you won't be able to get to where you're trying to get to. And where you trying to get to? This why you keep getting stuck. Because you're not setting clear goals. You don't have a plan. I know spontaneity is all cool and all, but if you don't have a plan, you're not gonna get to where you're trying to get to. So with self-sabotage, we want to identify and address limiting beliefs and practice self-compassion and seek support. Because it's better for me when I say things out loud. But that's why I got my poetry and then I go and perform it. I don't go perform it, I read it. So and then I go and read it. And for me, that's like a catharsis. So find something that will help you. Anything that is an ode to self-reflection, do it. Talk to yourself. Write letters to yourself. I don't know. Whatever it takes, do it. Because it's gonna help you. Once you can cohesively see your thoughts, once you can put it on paper, because it can sound one way up here, but when you start writing that out, it sounds totally different. You'll be looking at it a little different, like, oh, wait. So do that for yourself. And with the external pressures, just focus on your own values and goals. Learn to say no to things. Understand that a no costs you nothing, but a yes costs you everything. Learn to say no. It is okay. We don't gotta participate in everything. One thing I will say is I had to stop being so desperate for company, being so desperate for companionship. I had to stop, because that's how I shortchanged myself. That's how I had so many shortcomings. That's how I fell into my cycle of failure with relationships. I was desperate. I wrote letter earlier that stated that we're so desperate for connections, and we'll say that we are not desperate, and we'll say this whole thing of I want somebody that's healed, or I want somebody that's, in the moment that we see that, we cling to what we would consider perfection, or we considered heal, or whatever the case may be. And then in doing so, you have just activated your desperation, but we never see the root of it. And we'll say, oh no, they manipulated me. They did this. No, you manipulated yourself because you were desperate for something that looks like perfection or mimics perfection or gave you some type of satisfaction or made you feel safe in a moment that you did not finish your investigation. And that is what happened. So to sell yourself short and to continuously sell yourself short and know that you're selling yourself short because you know what you want and you know what you need to flourish in your life, then now you are perpetuating your cycle of fear. And I mean, your cycle of failure, not your cycle of fear, but also your cycle of fear as well. Knowing that you deserve better. It's easy. It's easy to fail. It's easy to give up. It's easy to stay on the ground and wallow in the dirt. But one thing that is very hard is to change your mindset and do something different. Do something that you have never done before, and that's be a better person for yourself, to succeed in the areas that you wanted to succeed, to see yourself as a person one way up here and to make it come into fruition here, to not walk in an imposter syndrome, but to actually embody the person that you say that you are. And that's what you have to learn how to do. That's the person that you have to learn to become. Because if you never learn to become that person, then you are forever going to be miserable. You're forever going to be stuck in a cycle. You're forever going to be wondering, what am I doing? I know how to do better. Why am I not doing better? Because you don't want to do better. You don't. It is as simple as that. You don't want anything better for yourself. You don't want to better your life. You like to lie to yourself instead of doing the work that is necessary to become the person that you say you want to become. It's easier to be lazy. It's easier to give up. It's easier to keep doing the things. My mama was telling me something about an 80-20%, 20% something. I can't explain it to you. But basically, what I figured that she was saying was that 80% of your bad I mean, 80% of your habits are what you're good at, basically. But the other 20% are the ones that could push you to doing better, push you into developing yourself even more. But you never cultivate that other 20% because you know you're good at the 80% already. So, what I challenge you to do is cultivate the 20% this week. And that is what I challenge you to do. I'm going to challenge myself to cultivate the 20% this week as well. So, we have to stop repeating the same mistakes. You already know that it's a mistake. You cannot tell yourself that you want a job that is going to see your schedule and understand that you need this amount of money and they're going to help you with the flexible schedule and then take a job that does none of that for you when you accept it. You're you're literally sabotaging yourself. You're going to have to quit that job. Are you exhausting your options? And I mean, are you exhausting all of your options? Don't just do one thing and state that, oh, yeah, that's good. It's good. And you know it's not good. You know that there's so much more that you could be doing. We have to stop having that defeatist attitude about the things that we are taking on, the things that we are venturing out towards. I keep saying that I want to develop my podcast. I want to make it better, but I don't put the money into it to do it. So like even if I say, "Oh, I want to get skinny," I want to do, but I never put the work in to do that either. You have a problem. This is a cycle. This is a perpetuated cycle of failure. Stop allowing yourself to walk in that. You're better than that. You could do way more than that. So, this is an intricate web, the cycle of failure. But I hope this episode was eye opening for you and filled with insights of practical advice because that's what I want it to be. I want it to give you a way to actually go out into the world and utilize it in the best way that you know how. Anytime that you notice yourself perpetuating something, if you know that the last time that you stopped and helped a stranger with their tire on their car and they robbed you, next time you might want to take a little more precaution and don't stop. You know what I'm saying? So you just want to make sure that you're safe. And these are all the things. This is how we can stop being the victim and stop saying that so many things has happened to us, but to be aware of the things that we're allowing to happen to us. So walk like the giant you are and remember who you are. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to step outside of the box because you're bigger than the box. So stop crowding yourself. Give yourself room to breathe. Lay yourself out, literally. If you are living in a box and playing small, I encourage you to upgrade your mentality to a mansion tonight. And you all have an amazing evening. And I will talk to you Thursday at 8 p.m. Thanks.